Hey, this is Tyrese Anderson. What I want to talk about today is why you should defend yourself when it comes to online hate. So, when it comes to why you should defend yourself when it comes to the issue of online hate, for this video, I will discuss why it is so very important for you to do it. Now, when it comes to the issue of online hate, the truth of the matter is you should defend yourself when it comes to the issue of online hate simply due to the fact um, of how human beings think. So when it comes to the issue of why you should defend yourself for online hate is a very important thing to prevent happening to you because the truth of the matter is when it comes to online hate, the truth about online hate is like any form of psychological warfare, or any form of combat for that matter. It's meant to try to conceive or convince the enemy that they're less. So they're less likely to have lower self esteem and they're more likely not to do anything or even raise a fight. That's the truth of the matter about it. Just like when it comes to sports. Have you ever heard about like sports teams heckling and arguing with each other and saying this and that? They do that because the point of it is to make you feel like you're less than the opposing side psychologically. So you're more likely to get irritated and make bad decisions and stuff. That's a part of sports. When it comes to issues like this, that's not okay. When it comes to issues relating to the group you belong to or on an individual level, like who you are as an individual, like who you actually are as a person, that's not okay. You know? So you have to do it when it comes to online hate is because the truth about it is that if you don't do it, especially with the way the internet works nowadays, whenever people, as history even shows as well, you don't defend yourself, the oppression can go on literally indefinitely for as long as possible because you're pretty much teaching um the opposing side that you're less, you don't love yourself, so they're going to take advantage of you. And it can go on literally indefinitely. There is actually throughout history examples of groups of people being oppressed for God knows how long. It can literally go on indefinitely because people think um, it's okay to do it. There's nothing wrong with doing that type of stuff, and it just goes on and on. And everyone in the world wants something from someone else. And sometimes it's even just down to your attention. Just sometimes if somebody's just having a freaking bad day, and if they want to put someone down, they'll pick on you because they get some energy, especially if you react to it. Especially if you don't know what you're doing and you react in a bad way, then it makes them more likely to just do it for simply personal amusement. That's the truth of the matter. There is a lot of evil in this world, and there is real evil in this world, and you have to learn to defend yourself so you don't, of course, succumb to it. Because the truth of the matter is, especially with the internet, to make things even worse, when something's out there, it can be out there forever. So you're teaching people that if you don't defend yourself, that's okay to do it, and it'll just go on permanently. Because the truth of the matter is, when something's online, it's online forever. There's no way to get it out there. It's just there. So people can always use it against you or come back towards you. So that's why you have to defend yourself. So that's really the reason why you should defend yourself, especially with this day and age we're living in, where where the truth of the matter is, people always make the argument all the time that I'm certain you've heard a million times before, that when it comes to the issue of freedom of speech, you have the right when it comes to the right of freedom of speech, you have the right to say whatever you want to say, because if you don't do it, then it's not real freedom of speech and all that type of stuff you hear all the time. We live in a world where freedom of speech is legally defended no matter what you say, no matter how hurtful, how terrible. You can say the worst things you can imagine saying about someone and even beyond. And by the rules of freedom of speech, it's still okay to defend yourself. So that's the truth of the matter. People will talk crap. And if it's by the rules that it's okay for people to talk crap, because there's literally nothing we can do about it. Because as these people say, and I believe there's some truth to it, and not even just some truth, there is truth to it. If you take away some people's right to freedom of speech in one way, then people are going to take away more and more and more out of freedom of speech. So if that's the case, then why not defend yourself? Because it's not like Like, you can stop them any other way aside from that. If you expect that YouTube's going to take down their videos or do this or do that, all it's going to do is two things. Not only will it, for example, not work because it will be considered discriminating against people for their personal beliefs, and more likely, to be more specific, anti-freedom of speech, it's going to make people see you guys as punks. It's like no snitching in school. Anyone who's been to school has probably heard the term no snitching. You know, even if a kid's picking on you and talking on you, you don't snitch, or everyone's gonna think you're a punk for that. Even if he's bothering you, because the truth of the matter is, you're expected to take that stuff in your own hands. So the truth of the matter is, if it's like that, then maybe it should be like that. In all honesty, now the truth of the matter is, when it comes to defending yourself online, doesn't necessarily mean that that every single time somebody says something small, or even a certain individual, you have to all stereotype that group of people being that way. No. But what it means is that it's understanding the right for you to defend yourself, particularly if they're pushing things too far, if anything. Because sometimes people will just take things so far, it just doesn't stop. It will just go on permanently, permanently, and permanently. So that's why you have to defend yourself. It's unfortunate that the world we live in has to be that way. You would imagine that at least if we have online drama, it would be bad, of course, but it wouldn't be as bad as it's gone now. But we don't live in a world like that. The world actually nowadays kind of sucks. And it also sucks because the people who also invented the internet, I don't think did a very good job in kind of predicting or preparing themselves for the worst side effects of the internet. Because you can't just have everybody on something and not expect there to be people who just come around and just kind of ruin things. You have to realize those things are going to happen. So the truth of the matter is, for my last point for this video, I just want to get across before this video ends, is that the truth of the matter is that is that is there any particular way I can discuss what you can do specifically? There's no particular way to do it, and if I get to that, it would be for another video. But the truth of the matter is, for this video, it's just simply explaining the reason why you should defend yourself online. Because there is a side of people that I personally believe is very predatory. And unless you want, of course, deal with the humiliation of being picked on by people, which I'm certain no one really wants to, the truth of the matter is you have to defend yourself. And the point of this video is to let people know why it's important to defend yourself online. Okay? Besides, at the end of the day, you're not killing someone. You're not hitting them with a rock or pushing someone down. It's simply a case of somebody calls you out on something or says something bad about you, say something bad about them back. Okay? The truth of the matter is. So the truth is, it's not like you're ending a world. And if it's something as simply as like words, at least people say all the time, I'm just words. When I say something bad to you and you're just saying it back to them this time, then what's wrong with that? Because there's no other way you can look at it. The world is on the internet now, and it's always going to be that way. You can't just walk away and pretend that it's that you want to hear what you want to hear. We're all going to get along as humans. We're not always going to get along as humans. So the truth of the matter is that since it's the world we live in today, you have to simply defend yourself. There's no particular real answer I can really give on how to do it, but it's understanding the reason why you should do it. Because trust me, man, in this world, things can always get worse. There's no limit to how bad things can be. It can always get worse. It can always get uglier. And if you don't do that, all it's going to convince people is that you're less. You're subhuman. And once people, as history shows, people start viewing you as a lesser human, that's when all the crazy stuff happens. And it can even result in some really ugly real life experiences, as the internet has shown. Sometimes the hate that goes online can translate into the real world. So you have to defend yourself. Absolutely. Defend yourself. Okay? And it doesn't mean necessarily you have to be racist or very hateful towards that group they belong to. It's simply letting people know if you're saying something that's wrong, that it's not correct, it's not true, and they're full of misinformation, and that's really it. Because the truth of the matter is, if you don't do it, then things are just going to get worse. As I have pretty much just made it clear for this video. So just do that, and trust me, the more people see that you're willing to stand up for yourself, the more and more people will back up. It's just like a lion. A lion, to be honest with you, or more specifically, a group of lions. Even if they can win the fight, the more and more they realize a certain particular um, species is gonna defend themselves and put up a good fight, and in general they're gonna stand up for each other, the more and more less likely they're gonna come back. So I'll leave that point to the people watching this video. And this is my video. If you like videos like this, remember to hit the subscribe button and thumb this video up. This is all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed it. And that is it. Later.